following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.
This isn't just a game, this is iRacing. Super Speedway action returning. A little Monday afternoon matinee, shall we say, as we get ready to go racing in Atlanta Motor Speedway virtually on iRacing in the Masters of the Draft Series presented by Bet2Track. It is the National Association for Stock Car Virtual Racing and race number 3 of the next-gen version of the 4 races. Technically race number 7, if you will. These guys getting ready to go 162 or so laps in the race. As Captain joins you here on this Monday afternoon. Appreciate everybody's patience and stuff, and we are ready to go here for some racing. Looks like the lights are going to come on here very shortly, and it should be a fun afternoon of racing. Got a little bit of a double header here this afternoon. Going to get this race in, and another league race coming up at 8:30 Eastern time as we get ready for that. And should be a lot of fun. Just FYI, you might get a little bit of audience in the background today, as the little one's having a good old time playing Ice Age on the PlayStation 4 right now. And, of course, you got myself, and the wife's having fun, too. We're all here, ready to have a good time. For 162 laps of the racing stages tonight, going to be 33 and 81 in the race. And, of course, this race ran on Tuesday night last week, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a spoiler out there. The race went longer than 162 laps, so you're going to see it actually show up on the link on the stream tonight when the race gets started as 166 laps. That is the total amount of laps that they ran in this race. But the great news is you won't know who won until somebody tells you one in the stream, or two, until you see the finish of this race. And I think we are in line for a pretty good show coming up here at Atlanta here this evening. All right, take a look at the point standings. This is coming out of the Monza race and into, of course, the race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Once I get my wits about me here, I could show you. There it is. As Joe Wells leads by 1 over Travis Gilbert, who pulled out the broom and swept the Monza races somehow. Roger Rios Matias, third. Shane Ward, Jacob Bowen, your top 5. 82 points separating the top 5 right now in the Gen 7 point standings. And then in the overall point standings, it is Joe Wells leading by 49 over Travis Gilbert, Quentin Clark, Roger Rios, Matias, Scott Wise, your top 5 there in the point standings as we go into the race here. In old Hot Atlanta, G Lightning with a 54-point lead over High Spirits, Torque Wrench, G Lightning Motorsports, and TNT, your top 5 right now in the overall point standings as we enter this third race. You see the cars out there practicing for a couple more minutes. The great news is I have every way, shape, and form to advance this rate into qualifying. It's a beautiful thing. And I think as we get done with this and show you the schedule, we are going to advance into qualifying. As you see right now, race 3 down there on the 15th, that is Atlanta, and then tomorrow night, Talladega to finish out the fourth and final round of this Gen 7 series. We'll take a couple weeks off, come back on the 12th of November from Daytona as we go back to 1987 and run the 87 cars, which is going to be very interesting to watch. That's a whole different style of racing right there in those cars. All right, qualifying about to begin right now as they race for the Pole Award, which of course is sponsored by Vivid EV. Vivid EV on the Blaine Perkins car yesterday at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and now they're on the Captain's Stream as a sponsor for the National Association for Stock Car Virtual Racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Big shout out to Joe Wells, who did that paint scheme yesterday for Blaine's car. He is in this race, and so is a bunch of others. So everybody must run a qualifying effort as per usual here. As our first car we see out there on the track, and I believe that is Krishan Elliott in the 9 car in the Pabst Blue Ribbon car. Some of the paint schemes might be different than what you normally see, only because, again, this race is almost a week ago, 6 days ago. As we look at Jacob Bowen on track in that 69 car. I've never really figured out the qualifying around here. All I do know is I would, if they would let you. I don't know how the rules are in this series, but usually they can't catch you. Go to the apron, as Andrew Moore's at a pole right now with a 31.12. Or, sorry, 31.25. Condon second, Krishan Elliott third with a 35. Shane Ward, Jacob Bowen right now your top 5 as we see the 39 as it switches over to the 54 car now. Tim Shiflett as he's going to cross the line. That's how you run the line around here. Shane Ward, 31.17 to the pole. Brian Hayes, Joe Wells, AJ Condon. Tommy Rogers in the purple right now. Let's see what he can do with his lap. As all these cars sliding into spots. Ryan Wilson up to the 4th position. Tommy ended up 7th, it looks like, in the run. Greg Thompson up to 2nd with his lap. Shane Ward looking pretty good right now. Oh, James Hudson just knocked him off the pole with that 6 car. 31.15. Good lap for him. Quentin Clark up to 4th. As a green, purple means good. Green means not as good. Yellow means you're not as fast. That's pretty much how this break down the colors when it's all said and done. Still going to have about 2 minutes left in qualifying. Still got some cars out there on track. As we're right on board with Derek Jacobs in the 30 car. Running right down that bottom side. As Jacobs 31.34 on lap 1. Travis Gilbert 32.16 right now, 22nd. Roger Rios Matias 23rd. So 2 cars yet to qualify as Andrew Moraz making his season debut, getting on track now in the 105 car, it looks like. So Dylan Picklesimmer, the only car not to get on track as of right now. Travis Gilbert, purple, as he works his way through turn 3 and 4 here in that Vet to Track car. Got that momentum from the win at Monza. as he crosses the start-finish line and goes P1 31:10. Pretty fast lap there. So Gilbert to the pole, and now Andrew Mraz, the only car left out there on track. We'll see if Dylan gets a lap in here. Here's Andrew in the, we'll call him the Tyler Reddick 45 car here tonight. As he brings her off turn number 4 and starts his lap here. And I believe he's only going to get like 5 seconds here to run a lap. And that's exactly what happened. So Andrew Mraz and Dylan Picklesimmer did not get a lap in, so obviously that's going to change things for the way the race here lines up. So we're going to go trackside. As, by the way, congratulations to Travis Gilbert on winning the pole here, presented by Vivid EV. Of course, electronic vehicles, something to check out, especially if you take a trip somewhere or something like that and you need yourself an electronic vehicle. I would check out Vivid EV as they sponsor the pole award. So trackside for the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, back we are here as we take a look at the starting lineup for race number 3 of this next-gen Masters of the Draft Series. Travis Gilbert, fresh off his win at Monza, gets the pole here tonight. James Hudson in the 6th car, going to start outside of P1. Greg Thompson, Quentin Clark there, row 2. Shane Ward and Stephen Melnick, it's a good qualifying effort there. The Georgia driver starts 6th. Brian Hayes, Joe Wells in the 8th position. Ryan Wilson, AJ Condon, your top 10. Roger Rios Matias will start 11th alongside Chad Waller. Sam Taylor, Tommy Rogers, Andrew Moore, Scott Wise, they're in the 16th position. Eddie Roati in the 17th position with Derek Jacobs. Tim Shiflett, Dusty White, Krishan Elliott, Jacob Bowen, Darrell Johnson, Andrew Mraz, going to start 24th. And last on the grid, Dylan Picklesimmer. As I look over, 3 cars starting in the pits, it looks like Picklesimmer, Andrew Mraz, and Eddie Roarty. 166 laps tonight, we'll call it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Stages are actually 33 and 81, not 15 and 38. I didn't update that correctly. But 70 degrees tonight, 72 on track, 90% humidity. Sounds like a typical fall day in Atlanta. Ask me how I know. All right, pace car, going to pull off. After 2 crazy races in the next-gen car, we come to the green flag for race number 3 to see who is the master of the draft in this next-gen car. Green flag from Atlanta, as Gilbert gets a great jump with Greg Thompson. And as always, a reminder, you can check out the cameras from the Captain eSports Network. They are, as caution's already out for some weird reason. Tommy Rogers has spun over here in turn 1. For the second straight night, a recorded race has a caution before turn 1. But anyways, I was about to say our camera is presented by TrackCams 22. You can check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at trackcams22.com. What happened to the 34 car? Oh, he gets turned by Scott Wise. Oh, Lauren had to go to work early. Caution number one out here early in this race. A little bit of a checkup there at the start. I don't know if Tommy just had a hard time shifting there or something. Something kind of made him check up just slightly. And Scott unfortunately got into him. Caution out here on lap number 1. So everybody should have crossed the start-finish line, which is definitely good news. Which means that iRacing glitch of putting everybody a lap down and having to take a wave around won't come into play here. So caution out lap number 3. Of course, tonight we'll give away the Hard Charger Award. Thanks, sweetie. So, being summoned to kill people on Spider-Man 2. Anyways, so yeah, caution out here for the first time. So Atlanta and Talladega to crown the champion in this series, and it's been a pretty wild one. As of course it was Gilbert getting the first repeat win of the season. We've had new winners ever other than that throughout this season. We'll go green next time by here, lap 4. And a big shout out to Vet to Track, as they are the sponsor of the series. Of course, Vet to Track helps veterans get out there and have a great time on the track and so much more. We appreciate obviously what the veterans do for this country and stuff, but it's one of the little things, if you want to call it that, that we can do to take care of them. Is let them be able to enjoy the life that they deserve after putting their lives on the line for us. So big shout out to Vet to Track for helping that happen. And Travis is in chat, so he can obviously, if you have any questions, reach out to Mr. Gilbert there. Pace car going to roll back in. We'll go back green at lap 4. Gilbert, Thompson, Hudson, Clark, and Hayes, your top 5. As Gilbert gets a pretty good launch. Of course, that's probably not what you necessarily want around this track, is you're going to get these cars with a really good run here, and they're either going to have to tighten behind them or go ahead and swing around them. Let's see what they do here as they roll down the back straightaway. The 42 of Quentin Clark giving the 6 a good shove down the back straightaway. That 08 going to get kind of shuffled down here as that 39 on his inside lane. And here comes the run on Gilbert. And Hudson going to take that 6 car to the front and bring Quentin Clark with him. Stephen Melnick, hometown track there for that Bass Pro Shops number 1. You see finally Gilbert able to pick up the 39 of Ward. And after he falls all the way back to the 4th position, so you might have to think a little bit about that restart again. And Ali wants to handle getting a big jump there, but so they bring it off turn number 4. Looks like 3 cars officially have started this race. All 25 on the grid. But looks like Andrew Moraz has joined the track, but he is 3 laps down. Eddie Roddy only got 5 laps in, and he's off. And Dylan Picklesimmer, I think, potentially got lost somewhere in the I-20 traffic, or should say I-75 traffic on his way to the track, probably. Which is a very believable story if you ever want to get away with that. So the front 15 cars all in this pack. AJ Condon there in that 5 car, and the white is a Key City, I believe it's on his car. So again, stage racing in this series, but they don't stop for the stages. They keep racing. And lap 31 and 33 and 81 are the stages here tonight, which is usually about 20 and 50% of the race is how they set that up. Of course, this being a 162-ish lap race. So you see this front 15 cars, these guys are separated out. And then you go back here to Rashawn Elliott. He's leading the second pack in his Blue Pabst Ribbon number 9 car. '77 car of Andrew Moore there behind him. Daryl Johnson, Tim Shiflett, Rogers, who was involved in that caution, and then Derek Jacobs. So pretty much everybody else that's in this lead pack is right here behind, just kind of trailing, which is a safe space to be, especially when you get into a pack like this, as here comes the G Lightning team on the outside lane. As the 22, as we're all being serenaded. We're going to fix something here really quickly. I thought I edited out that camera, so I apologize for that. So we're going to fix that real quick. That one camera, I try to edit it as many cameras as possible, but some reason one of them just doesn't cooperate. That one right there. Goodbye. And let's add in some more live TV here for you. You ever want to know how I add cameras and change cameras on the track? There you go. You just saw it live. All right, back to our regular scheduled programming as Travis Gilbert has gone to the lead here with Ward in the 9 as Sam Taylor is running the, it's that Chase Elliott Children's Network paint scheme that he always has. He runs in the fall Atlanta race, or summer Atlanta race, whatever you want to call it. And usually a child will paint for him. Gilbert getting a pretty good run here. That's his teammate up front there. I think he wanted to either let Shane run lead a lap there, or maybe got side drafted back. Not sure with that angle. But 12 laps in the books. This 250-mile event. kind of separating out here a little bit. Not sure if we had a little checkup or something went on, but it definitely has broken this field up a little bit. Handling will come into play a little bit just because this race is under the lights and there might be some grip in the car. Does not necessarily mean that's 100% of what they're going to feel here this evening. As Melnick, you see him falling back. There's the 3 of Joe Wells. The 126 of Chad Waller also going by. As Ward continues to run out front, they were Taylor now in second. The one thing I have found in this car, especially at this track, is that right rear likes to build temperature up and the car will start getting loose on you. As they come up on a lap car. As by the way, Eddie Rorardi has joined the track, and that's who that is in that very bright red car as he jumps out of the way on the apron. At least he did it for a split second, but it looks like he's come back onto the track maybe. He sure did. I thought he was going off the track to give everybody room, but instead he's going to give Greg Thompson the lead on the outside lane and bring Roger Rios Matias to his outside with him. As Gilbert makes the dive to the bottom. Appreciate the viewers hanging out here on the Captain Esports Network. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're returning, we appreciate you coming back and hanging out with us. Share the stream out. Tell your friends that we are on early tonight doing some fun broadcast for everyone. Of course, this National Association for Stock Car Virtual Racing League. And then another live race coming up here tonight, and then we're back live tomorrow night for the same Masters of the Draft Series from Talladega to finish out their season in the next-gen car. Pick back here, Scott Wise has lost that lead pack. He has fallen back here to the second group of cars that just continues to run laps. Roger Rios Matias has now gone to the lead to another lead change. As we got about 12 laps to go next time by here in stage 1. Let me do the math again. 14 laps to go in stage 1. As Wells to the front, so another lead change. These guys are swapping the lead left and right out here. And of course, the repave of this track a couple years ago has turned it into this hybrid super speedway thingamajiggy. Afterwards, ooh, little door banging there. The 5 and the 16 come together. This track used to be one of the funnest worn out surfaces you can run. They decided to turn it into this, and it's made for some wild racing. So it's 4 seconds from the 13th place Krishan Elliott back to Andrew Moore. As they're 3 wide again, as Gilbert stuck in the old sucker hole. As Condon and Thompson going to go by. Gotta be very careful with the bumps. Push them at the wrong time, and all of a sudden you have got yourself a caution waved. That's something you do not want. Want to correct myself, Krishan Elliott's actually back in that second pack. It's Ryan Wilson who's got the 4.5 second lead over Krishan there in the 12th and 13th positions here. As you see the 12 lead lap cars up in this pack right now. There's the Budweiser 126 of Chad Waller running in the 10th position here. Look at that run he gets. That next-gen car can just shoot out of nowhere and get as many track positions. Ooh, 3 jumping up there. Not sure if he got loose or if he just meant to get in front of Gilbert there. I'm pretty sure it's the latter. As they come up on the back of Eddie Rorardi again. I think Eddie's forgetting to use 5th gear probably. I am not sure what has more red on it, the car or the sign that Kramer had above his door that was blinding Jerry's eyes. For those who watch Seinfeld, you'll get that reference. Three wide. Oh, again, is it 42 of Clark gets shuffled out. Rio's doing a great job of maintaining his line there, but to see some more shuffling going on. Fantastic racing here early, 26 laps in. And I'll say this, that second pack is starting to bring in the lead pack. I don't know what groove you guys have always preferred at this track. I've always preferred the top. For some reason, obviously, a little bit of a longer radius, not turn the wheel as much. You can carry all that speed off the corner. Right now, you've seen all these guys 2x2, and then you got this back row of cars as they work through 3 and 4, going around to 33. These guys got that second groove starting to roll a little bit, but of course, now they're going to cross back down right in front of that lap car. That always makes it tough for a car on its outside, because if you forget that there's a car to your inside, or you're so focused on the car in front of you, it can create a caution, and you do not want that. I think Sean just got a little loose off 2 there. You're on that bottom lane, you're turning the wheel a lot more, and if that car starts handling loose because your right rear is screaming at you, put that car down or move it up to the top side so you don't turn the wheel as much. Joe Wells leads here, lap 29. As we have 3 laps to go in stage 1. So we got a pack now of about 12. Then we got a pack of about 6 or 7 cars, and then a pack of 4. Oh, and cars in the wall. Roger got turned there for a split second. Are they wrecking? They are not yet. And now they are. Roger hard into the wall. Right in front of the field, and Wise gets clobbered. So does a couple others. And that's going to bring the second caution out, and likely will end stage 1. And Quentin Clark might have got some damage from that also. Everybody gets sorted out here behind the pace car. And here comes the fun part. Do you pit or do you take the stage win? And of course, your top 2 in points. So one of you guys got to make the decision. Andrew Mraz is going to get a waiver on here, it looks like, as Stephen Melnick and others go to pit road. So these guys are all going to stay out here and go ahead and take the bonus points, it looks like. And for those who've never seen this before, basically it doesn't matter when the green or caution comes out or whatever. When it gets to the end of a stage, that's the lap the stage ends on. We had it was a week or 2 ago where I think the green flag came out at the end of the stage. That's the way it goes. You know, NASCAR likes to do it where they run it all the way to the end of the stage, but not here. And we'll show the replay of the accident here in just a second. Shiflett, Rogers, Clark, Wise, Dusty White, Darrell Johnson, amongst others, getting damage fixed, it looks like, on their cars. And off of turn number 4, the Wise Guy iRacing Graphics Stage 1 winner is Joe Wells in the 3 car, as he'll get 10 bonus points. And right there behind him, the guy that trails by 1, Travis Gilbert, going to finish second in the stage. Taylor, Condon, Wilson, Hudson, Ward, Melnick, Thompson, and Sean Elliott, I believe, the top 10 there. It could have swapped a little bit towards the end there with the way pit stops worked out. All right, real quickly, I will come back to this right here. Just give me a second. We're going to go back to the caution here. Unfortunately, I have to rewind it manually because I did not reset the events. There we go. Oh, it's actually going to start all the way here at the top. As soon as I found the 21. There he is. He's already in the wall at this moment. As we go to the... And he and Clark already there as they just continue to hit. And finally, he gets off the wall and then loses the back end right in front of Quentin. And bam, into the pile comes Bowen and Scott Wise to get involved in. That's 4 or 5 cars in it. Well, let's see if we can go further back and see what caused the 21 to get sideways here before we go back green. Clark was just right there pushing him. So far, everything good. Oh, and Roger checks up because of the car there in front. He thought was going to chop the nose off. And unfortunately, events happened. All right, so caution out for the second time here. And we'll get the green. This time by with Joe Wells leading. I want to remind you that we are still helping with the donations for the American Red Cross. All you have to do is go over to the, go down into the description area on the race info here, and you can click the link to the American Red Cross and help donate to those involved in Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. You can do that by just clicking that link and go from there. Appreciate everybody who's helped out with the hurricane situations. Hopefully everybody's doing okay and everybody's families are okay. Obviously a very scary deal going on. in both areas. As here we go, Wells and Gilbert bring them to the green flag. Start of stage number 2 and the restart here after the second caution. And a little bit of a checkup here as Andrew Moore is going to take the outside and bring the 30 of Derek Jacobs. I was like, whose car is that? I haven't seen that one yet, but I had to remember Jacobs in that 30 car. As Taylor able to get to the lead, here comes the Ryan Wilson black and green number 23 car. And you get a little bit of a longer race here before you get to the stage 2, which is lap 81. I can kind of sit back, be patient just a little bit. As 3 wide for the lead. Greg Thompson making moves. And it looks like that killed the momentum of the outside lane as Taylor able to pull away. Wilson and Ward able to clear also as Gilbert falls back a little bit here. And Thompson, unfortunately, is freight trained backwards. As that 30 car slides in, up 9 positions from the 18th position to 9th right now. Ooh, little check up there in the inside lane. Everybody looks like they're okay as you see the 6 now. That's the one thing about this track. The checkups come very quickly and you got to be very ready for it to happen at any moment. 19 cars in this lead pack early. Appreciate everybody hanging out here this afternoon on the Captain eSports Network. Double header of action. .54 mile oval with 28 degrees of banking. Leading out front, one of the longest leaders so far we've had is he's had the 39 and Shane Ward just kind of sitting there pushing him a little bit. 9 of Krishan Elliott there was Travis Gilbert there, a couple cars bobbled just a little bit as I think there was a small checkup. Car having a little bit of a blinking issue there. Had to catch on to that, which always allows me to promote the old blinking fluid t-shirt you can get on the Captain eSports Network shop. You can click the link down below in the description page and check out the old blinking fluid shirt, which is of course presented by All 4 Blinking Fluid. Up the middle goes Condon. That 08 of Thompson continues to try to make that top side work. Very hard to do at this track. Oh, hold on, AJ. That was a save. Well, he's still trying to get his wits about him. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So a key factor coming into play here. Remember those cars that still, and then the wall goes to 6. Never mind on that theory. Waller gets damage. And Roger Rios Matias does a great job of checking up. And the caution coming out for the 3rd time here. That looked like it could have been huge. But not many cars, it looks like, getting involved in that. Well, let's get a replay of this. Hudson down there on the bottom. Joe Wells there, points leader. Oh, no. Hook City. See if we can get a better look at this from the crash cam. Thompson on the outside there with Joe Wells. And yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things where Wells is trying to give the outside lane some room, and Hudson unfortunately comes up there. Nice job by the 33 Roaldi to miss that. Unfortunately, the 126 missing that. And then Roger checks up right behind it. AJ Condon getting a lot of nose damage also. Add Jacob Bowen, another damaged car. Maybe some damage for Melnick. But lap 44, caution out here for the 3rd time. As it looks like the leaders will come to pit road here. As Krishan Elliott leads them in. This worked out perfectly for those cars that stayed out at the stage break. I was about to say they were going to have to pit very shortly, but Melnick, Rios, Matias, and Rogers stay out. And Krishan Elliott, the first one off pit road. I appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out. Want to also send a special shout out to 40 Racewear, of course, as Jim Herrick does a great job in the Indianapolis area with your racing shoes and gloves. You can check him out there in Indianapolis if you've not had an opportunity to look at his website to see what kind of product he has to offer you. He can definitely help enhance your iRacing experience or whatever sim you like to race. Check out 40racewear.com for details. And we'll get one to go this time by. Last week was the Petit Le Mans, which happened down in Braselton, Georgia. Stephen Melnick right down the road from that track. I've actually delivered a few times to that track. I was living in that area. right, so Roger Rios Matias going to start on his outside. Tommy Rogers on the inside of row 2. Sean Elliott, the first to pit under this stop. As we still got 34 laps before the end of stage 2. As we come to the green flag, is Melnick going to take off? As per usual, first 2 or 3 cars get a pretty good jump. It allows the momentum to get wound up on these cars behind them as Thompson gets to the back of the 9 car and starts pushing. Rios back to the front after what happened earlier. Got that reset that you get in this league. Got the car fixed and brought her back to the front. And notice 4th gear for him right now, running 8,600 RPM down the back straightaway. That's probably not healthy for that engine. So I believe the next gen cars rev up to what, 8,800, I think. As Elliott gets that run on the outside. Something about an Elliott apparently at Georgia. Watson back there giving that 9 a push. 23 Wilson up here giving the 21 a push. 18 cars on the lead lap here. Atlanta here on iRacing just added on lights. It had been an original at the track all the way as far back as I can think. I think since the remodel of the track back in '97 when they flipped the straightaways around and then made the D-shaped part of the track when they added lights to the track. iRacing for some reason never added lights. And it finally did here in the last season when these Atlanta races were getting ran under the lights for the most part. Scott Wise back up to the 4th position there in his outside lane. Andrew Moore with him. Ride from Roger down the back straightaway here is everybody does a great job just continuing to work well to each other. Outside line gets clear. And here comes that aggressive drafter, Scott Wise, who knows how to get it done on these super speedways. He loves his style of racing. Got involved in a couple incidents earlier, but got the car bandaged up, and the Illinois driver looking to get up there with Moore, who's been continuing to just kind of ride behind him there. Eric Jacobs there on his inside lane, following the 77 and High Spirits racing car. Of course, vet to track on the 22 car to his outside there. You see that line just continuing to roll. As Alexa gives us a weather report on my right here. Ooh, Moore gets himself put in a bad spot, 3 wide middle. That was a great move there by the 30. Oop, car's bouncing off the wall. There's Andrew Mraz, who's trying to get back there on the lead lap. He is still 3 laps down. Got Daryl Johnson still a lap down. So is Quentin Clark, Jacob Bowen. Let me correct myself. Just Clark and Bowen are on the lead lap actually here. Hudson's a lap down. And the first one a lap down right now. As Clark is starting to get that top side Pied Piper running here. Some call it a boring way to race. I call it a smart way because it gets you to the finish. You cannot win a super speedway race unless you make it to the last lap. And I think a lot of times people get caught up in the racing concept and forget the whole concept of, you know what, the winner of the race is the first one to cross the start finish line. Doesn't matter how you do it. Oh, contact and wreck, and Sam Taylor gets turned. Saw Elliott get clipped. Thompson's on his lid. The 47 goes directly under him. And this is a big wreck up front. Elliott with damage. He gets involved, and thankfully there's resets. As the big one breaks out at lap number 60. Bless you. Let's see how this one breaks out. Oh no. The 5 gets into the right. Wow, that 08 went flying. 47 goes directly under. Fortunately, the 5 just got the 9 in a bad spot. This is a good one. And if you really want to make AJ feel guilty about this wreck, you tell him that was a child's paint scheme you just destroyed. All right, let's go on board here with Thompson in the 08 car, because this one hurts. Right in your front end. Yeesh. Another view here. Where's the 47 of Brian Hayes? Bet the track car, and unfortunately he's gonna have Greg Thompson land on his top. So during the I think the hood's doing the old Jey Uso beat thing. Anyways, caution out here for the 4th time. Funny moment there. My daughter comes over, and that hood has got some problems here. Boingy, 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 boingy. She saw the wreck and comes over and goes, "That's funny." Poor guys. I know it's got problems. Boinky boinky. That's kind of funny, actually. I mean, you would think that hood would have dented the top of the car in by now. How can you see? All right, so leaders are coming to pit road here. As we'll have 19 laps to go. Condon stays out with Ryan Wilson. As Gilbert tops off the fuel cell. So 104 laps to go here. Got 18 left in stage 2. Again, tomorrow night, these guys are back on the track at Talladega Super Speedway live here on the Captain eSports Network for their final race, and then I believe they take 2 weeks off. I was looking at the calendar here. Let's see, 21st is 22nd tomorrow, 29th and the 5th. Yeah, so we'll be back on the 12th for racing in the 87 car, and I'm pretty sure Scott Wise will have plenty of practice sessions. And for those who are not used to running 87s, I suggest you go practice. As those cars going around Daytona, going 225 to 230 miles an hour, and aerodynamics are not good at all. You almost have to drive the track like it's almost like you're at a speedway. And if you really want to make somebody mad, you go sit on their left rear as you're trying to pass them in the corner. Just go literally put the air on their left rear and watch them spin out. Funniest thing in the world. Yes, it's a you-know-what move, but it's funny as hell. All right, so one to go this time by. Not suggesting anything here, but I do notice a gear that Condon's going to start in. This is one of those tracks that it's kind of weird the way the gearing is set up in this car. You can actually do a first gear start, and you're okay. The traction's pretty much there. I mean, you got to shift quickly to second, but you can get that little bit of a launch. But you can, if you want to be conservative and not spin the tires and that kind of thing, you can't start in second gear, but your momentum will not be as good as starting in first gear. I know Krishan Elliott's not returned to the track. He must be still towing. Neither is Greg Thompson. Meanwhile, behind me, my daughter's playing the Disney game. She's playing as Beer. And she's looking like myself on the go-karts at Disney. She's trying her best, though. Green flag back out. Lap 64. Is that Disney Speed Storm or something like that? That's right, the racing game for PS5. As Condon Gilbert, Derek Jacobs clear. Top 5 now clears. Joe Wells back into the picture, into the top 5. Couple cars with some contact there mid-pack, but everybody okay as Wise tries to push that 23. Yeah, I'm a little concerned. If you got a sticker on the back of your car that says check up, there's a problem. I'm just going to throw that out there right there. See if I can get a good look at that front end. Or that back end of the car. Let's just say check up Brake Inspection Services. Is that a real company? That's got to be made up, right? That pink car, top side, outside lane. I believe that is the 47 of... You know what? That's actually a lap car back there is who that is. Oh, a couple cars rubbing up against the wall there. Up, some more cars shuffling around. That's actually Dusty White in the 11th, who that is in the 22nd position. As Condon continuing to lead, Gilbert continuing to hang right up there in the top 5, doing a great job. So is Joel, so is Derek Jacobs, so is Shane Ward. And caution going to come out is... All right, I don't see anybody spun out. Up, one car down the apron here. James Hudson is spun. And a caution going to come out here at lap 68 now. Andrew Mraz might have been involved in this, it looks like. Now let's see what happens. They're 3 wide up here. Mraz gives a bump to Clark. Still 3 wide. Now 4 wide. The 34 gets clipped with the 9. The 42 gets loose or something there. There was 2 separate wrecks into one here. Then the 45 and the 6 come together. I want to watch how the 42 came around here. Because the 34 is going to contact with the 9. You see Mraz pushing the 42. Oh, right there, he gets tail whipped by the 77. That's what happens. A tough break there for... a lot of cars. Let's see with the 9 now as we see the... Yeah, they see the check up there to 33, puts the 9 in a bad spot. Gets himself saved. And then Mraz, unfortunately, he and the 6 come together. And unfortunately, their days come to an end. It looks like they're at least the 45s does. And caution waves again. As leaders are on pit road here. And looks like everybody just topping off the fuels. We got 11 laps left in this stage. Gilbert wins the race off pit road. Shane Ward going to be second, it looks like. Never mind. Looks like AJ Condon going to be second off pit road. Ward still sitting in his stall there. So Wells continues to be out front here. Great run for Brian Hayes in the 47. He's now second. Scott Wise up to the 3rd position. Hayes just had the yapping hood after that last caution. He's up to 2nd now after using his reset to get fixed. Scott Wise 3rd. Tim Shiflett, Andrew Moore, your top 5. And we'll get one to go this time by. So again, for those hanging out here tonight, coming up in just a little bit, you're going to have the another series race, another league race coming up. Not for these guys, but for another league that we usually cover on Monday nights. I believe, matter of fact, these guys are going to have a practice race tonight if I know Scott pretty well. But you'll see the captain going back live around 8:15 or so Eastern time as soon as this race is over. And we'll be at Las Vegas for that race. And it will be back tomorrow night. From Talladega to finish the season off here for these guys. As here we go, Joe Wells, Brian Hayes, Scott Wise, Tim Shiflett, Andrew Moore back to the green here. 10 laps to go, stage number 2. And what has been an active third race of this Masters of the Draft Series presented by Vet to Track. Counting 16 cars on the lead lap now as we go green. Off the track as of right now, I only see 2 cars as of right now off the track, and that being Chad Waller and Dylan Picklesimmer. Picklesimmer actually hadn't even started the race yet still. As Scott Wise, for the first time tonight, going to get a lap lead with 9 laps to go. And yes, for those just joining us, you are getting the cameo tonight of the daughter laughing, watching TV over here next to me and playing games. Things we usually do before the broadcast start in the evening time. She's currently playing Bluey now on PS5. So Wells, Gilbert, and now Shane Ward have gone single file 1, 2, 3 as they have passed back by the 31 of Wise. You know he's not going to let that hold on there for long. You see the 77 of Andrew Moore been right there in his back pocket the whole entire race for the most part. And right behind him, Brian Hayes in that 6th position doing a great job. Rebounding back from that accident just a little bit ago. Wonder if these guys are how aggressive they're going to be here to get to the end of stage 2. He's back here, AJ Condon racing real hard in that 5 car. The 93 into the picture for the first time tonight. Daryl Johnson doing a great job in the 11th position. Not sure how many cars he's had to go through tonight, but he's doing well. You see Eddie Roddy is in the battle in that red and black and white number 33 car. Sending a joke over to the G Lightning team right now in Discord as you watch Condon make the move on the bottom here. Great run for the 5. It's a great push into turn 1, and he's able to take several positions. As we come to 3 laps to go in the stage. You see Gilbert trying to push that 3 as far as he can go out front. As we're a little checking up there is, see the 9 back on track of Rashawn Elliott. A little check up there with him in the 93 and others. Everybody going to be okay, it looks like here. As we come to 2 laps to go. Is Joe Wells going to sweep himself some stages here? Puts himself in the right place at the right time almost every week. Which, yes, you could say it's a little bit of luck, but I think at the same time, that puts some skill into play here to be able to be up front here and have great teammates to work with here. Final lap in the stage. As Andrew Moore right there on the inside with Roger Rios Matias. And around goes to 21. It slams in the inside wall. He's going to be okay. We stay green. That unfortunately looked like a push gone wrong as Joe Wells comes off turn 4. As Gilbert going to put the team in the back pocket for now and help Gilbert, or help Wells, I should say, score his 2nd straight stage win here, presented by Wise Guy iRacing Graphics, as Joe Wells sweeps his stages here. I'm pretty sure Gilbert's got in mind, you know what, you can have the stages. I'm taking a race win when it comes later on in this race. Roger Rios Matias is on pit road now. That kind of broke up the pack a little bit here as you ride with Melnick. Put 82 laps on the board here. So now it is all the way to 166 to the checkered flag. I think I'm going to do some scent smelling here. I'm always a fan of the these new plug things that you put in the wall and apparently smell. I think they're called like something. Oh, pretty good. That one's the Frozen Lake, apparently. I forget what they're called. There's like a term for them. Wallflowers, that's it. Yeah, the Wallflowers. They're named after the group. They're not really. I'm just making that up. Even the stars. Go with that one. Oh, and Scott Wise going to get turned into the wall with Melnick. And caution is out. Look over and see the yellow lights flashing. Caution is out. Those who haven't seen, wallflowers are like the new big thing, apparently, in the world. So you put them in the wall, and apparently it like smells up your whole entire house. There's some good smelling ones out there, I must say. If you're a fan of fall, I would suggest some kind of cinnamon apple type of ones. You just go to Bath & Body Works. They're not a sponsor of mine, I'm just saying. Just put it out there. All right, caution out. What happened to Scotty here? As he gets turned. Rashawn Elliott there on his back bumper. Off turn 4. Oh, and Krishan yeeted him. Right in front of Melnick and others. A big checkup in front there in the 11. In front of Scott. Scott got in the back of him, and then just, it's one of those things. It's not Krishan's fault, I don't think, here. It's one of those where you have, I call it the 5th car syndrome. Anytime you get a checkup and there's a lot of cars, usually the 5th car in line pays for it. Well, let's look up here in the front. See if I can get you a better vantage point of this. And so likely there was a checkup somewhere near Andrew Moore, I would say. Right there, check up Moore, check up there, check up there, check up there, check up there. 4th car in line gets turned. That's how it always works. as caution comes out at lap 84. And now the question going to be, who comes to pit road for this yellow and who doesn't? I would think everybody comes here. Now that you got the long race at the finish here. Joe Wells, Travis Gilbert, Shane Ward, and others on pit road here. Brian Hayes, Tommy Rogers going to stay out and take the track position here. Daryl Johnson, fuel only, it looks like, for him. So my wife brought me the label of this wallflower thing. Their slogan, fragrance that welcomes you home. Apparently they're made by a company called White Barn out of New Albany, Ohio. Hey, that's like right over there. So it looks like Dusty White's going to get the wave around here, so he'll be 3 laps down. And football fans, there is a football scented one, by the way, too, I believe. I forget what it was actually called. But, yeah, there's one. It doesn't smell like a football, but it's like titled like a football title. Alright, so pace car going to pull off this time by, and we will have, if I do the math here correctly, carry the 178 laps to go. As Brian Hayes, Tommy Rogers, Daryl Johnson, Joe Wells, Travis Gilbert, your top 5. We have had the who's who of everybody up here in the front. I think we're more in the case in point here of who has not led a lap tonight, and I can tell you at least 4 cars that haven't. 5 cars. I can tell you probably that Dusty White, Andrew Mraz, Eddie Rorty, Chad Waller, and Dylan Picklesimmer. I think you can add Jacob Bowen to the list. Everybody else, I think, has led a lap at one point tonight. Now, Dylan, for obvious reasons, he's still stuck in traffic, I think, on I-75. As we come back to the green. At lap 87, kind of a slower restart here. Oh, that was a lead lane change right there, I believe, from Brian Hayes. That might get him in trouble. As Daryl Johnson goes to the lead, Gilbert to second, Condon to third. We'll see if a black flag gets waved here for the 47. Trust me, if there is a league that you do not get anything usually past, it's Lauren in this league here. As now Hayes is up in the outside wall. And Daryl Johnson leads the lap. For all of the second, here's Gilbert to the inside with Condon now. There's the 9 behind them. Sam Taylor back in this battle here. Derek Jacobs back into this battle, and along with Joe Wells. Oh, 3 wide with Condon in the middle. Wells has to shuffle up. Quentin Clark up to the 4th position. This field is spread out a little bit here all of a sudden. Stephen Melnick has come to pit road for an unscheduled stop from the 1. Look at the inside line, get a great run with Joe Wells to the inside as he pushes. And is that, I'll say it was that Jacob Bowen, but Bowen's a lap down, unfortunately. Is Scott Wise now on pit road, so not sure what happened to the 31. That's Daryl Johnson there in the 93, and that 69 car there, that is Jacob. But unfortunately for Jacob, he is a lap down, looks like 3 laps down if I'm seeing it right. As he's going to get one of his laps back the hard way here. As this field is separated out to only about 8 cars now in this lead pack. On the back straightaway, and of course leads me to the conversation for the viewers watching. Of course, you can jump in on this if you'd like to, or I've always found it interesting about this track. And you know, they've done the repave now. This is year 3 that's completed, and I use the 2001 race as a reference. You go back to the race where Harvick wins, and you think about how worn out that track already was, and how the field was spread out, and you know, speeds were already coming down a little bit and the track was aging. You gotta wonder if this track could keep up with it. And will we continue to see the exciting pack racing that this track has presented? Or will he eventually have to take the spacer off and open the field up and let him race? I've always felt you'd have to, but so far 3 years later, they haven't yet. And it's been just as exciting racing on a little bit of an older surface now than it has the new surface. And of course, Atlanta has put a lot of money into patching up the track to make sure the track stays pretty smooth and allows this kind of racing to happen. But each time you throw a Band-Aid on the track, it costs money. So 7 lead lap cars in this lead pack, and it's 3.5 seconds back to a second pack of about 4 cars. That's at about 3.5 seconds back. You see another pack of 3 back there trying to catch this pack and make it a little 7 pack. As they're going to go by the lap car of Scott Wise, who's off the pace in the 14th, 13th position now as he gets lapped. Biggest movers in this race right now, Daryl Johnson up 21 spots from 23rd to 2nd. Sam Taylor up 10 from 13th to 3rd. Derek Jacobs from 18th to 7th. Tim Shiflett from 19th to 8th. Those are your big movers here in this race, but obviously when it's all said and done and give away the Hard Charger Award, it might be with these Daryl Johnson unless something bad happens here. as we hit lap number 166 laps to go. As Stephen Melnick unlapping himself now. And he's still got a couple laps to make up. There's really only one car a lap down in this race right now. And it's this car way back here with damage. James Hudson. Everybody else is 2 or more laps down. So if Hudson can get a caution, he'll get the lucky dog and he can come to pit road and potentially get that 6 car fixed. So Travis, who's in this race running in the, well, he's actually the leader. It's all the lap cars are pretty much passing him, it looks like right now. You know, brings up the point of loving the current Atlanta layout, or good with it, you should say, but he loved the old Atlanta like most of us did, but saying too many cookie cutters and too many road courses. So question for you, Travis, is that because you're a more traditionalist racing fan? You know, the one that likes the 2 road course only? Because I feel like a lot of those guys, I feel like a lot of the old school generation race fans are scared of change. And I mean that nicely. I don't mean that like as an insulting way of saying it. But, you know, you get these different schedules and stuff, and I'm okay with trying something. You know, sometimes you look good, sometimes you don't. I'm going to agree with that statement, Travis, about the next-gen car. I think one of the things they want to do to fix this car, they got to find a way to get the air over the car, not under the car. And the simple way of doing that, take the diffuser off, raise the car off the ground, which they've already done, and set up the air to where it goes over the car. So Gilbert's got a little bit of a single file line starting up here at the top side with Darrell Johnson there behind him. But you see Gilbert is not the first car in line. Instead, it's Shane Warden at 39. Shane is 3 laps down also now in that 39 car. He's been involved in a couple of wrecks this evening. As the laps start to tick away. Yeah. What, 12 cars on the lead lap right now, and then you got Ward, Melnick, Wise, Thompson, Bowen. I mean, a lot of cars sitting at 3 laps down, or 2 laps down, I should say, and then you got a couple 3 laps down, and then you got, you know, see Dusty White 4 laps down, and then Roger Rios, Matias, Raldi, Moraz, and then Chad Waller and Pickle Simmer off the track. His car scatter. See anybody spun out, but issues on the track and everybody had to scatter around here, and that's going to bring this pack, I think, back together, as everybody should be able to stay single file here and roll with each other. But that was very interesting back there on the back straightaway just now. I don't disagree with that. I think it's a fair statement. One, I think you got a lot of factors that come into play here. From, you got a car that obviously has its flaws, which every car does. You know, and of course the one thing that drivers talk about they need to do to the car is, you see the second pack is together now. They're going to quickly run down this front pack, I think, is they want more horsepower in the car. And I think the one thing that doesn't get brought up is the engine department. Now, I have seen people on social media mention, you know, it only makes one little change and we can make an engine have 1,000 horsepower or 900 horsepower and the car be fine. But what you got to remember is some of these tracks, you get a big yo-yo band, if you will, of RPM. And what that does is it puts a lot on the motor. And you got these motors now that are supposed to be able to run 2 or 3 races a season without blowing up. And now you get a car that goes to, I'm trying to think of a track with a lot of tire wear now. Like a Darlington. Well, not Darlington's not a good example. There's almost some contact there as Johnson goes for the lead here. Let's use Nashville for an example. You get that car running 9,000 RPM down to turn 1, and it drops down to 4,000, and back up to 9,000, and back down to 5,000. And that motor becomes questionable to keep going. You go back to the races at Auto Club in Michigan. Oh, little door banging there between these two up front. You know, you had a lot of yo-yo in the engine. You wonder why the engines always blew up. Gilbert and Johnson is racing hard with each other. Taylor back here riding behind them. Condon and Wells now top 5. As here comes that second pack of cars now with Andrew Moore and others. All of a sudden, everybody back in this big pack of 11 cars, and then, correction, let me say about 8 cars now in this pack, and then here's a pack of 3 with Brian Hayes and Tommy Rogers and Tim Shiflett as we get close to about our longest green flag run here. Going to see another green flag pit stop potentially coming up here, which is going to make things interesting. Some lap cars up in this battle too, as you see Melnick up here. Scott Wise, I believe, has joined this pack. He sure has at the back there. So you got cars battling for the lucky dog in this pack. You got cars battling for the lead. There's battles everywhere. Travis, I don't disagree with any of those, but that's perfect. So there's 39 just towing his teammates around here right now of Shane Ward. Of course, he's also trying to get probably a caution here so he can get back into running here at this race. But right now, he's just kind of the gopher boy, if you will, for his G Lightning team. Let's go over. These guys got him committed to the middle line right now. As we come to 50 laps to go. Brian Hayes and Tommy Rogers have come to pit road here. And which could be for the final time. Going to be very close on fuel for those guys. Less than 50 laps to go here, and again tomorrow night these guys finish out their season at Talladega Super Speedway for the final race in the Next Gen Series, and they're going to switch over to the 87s. And they're got a very, very tough schedule on their hands for those 87 cars. They are not the easiest things to drive. Peek over at the schedule. They're going to be running Daytona and the iRacing Super Speedway. And then the old '07 Daytona, the bumpy one, and then Dega again. That'll pretty much get us right up to almost Christmas time before the All-Star race that they're going to run. A super late model at Talladega. That'd be really fun. Ooh, a little check up there. Dueling nines putting each other in the wall. Oh, and Krishan's going to get turned. Yikes. And caution coming out again. Oh, that's a broken track or broken toe link. Look, don't do that. That left rear is broken. Unfortunately, both nines get in the wall and they check up. And Scott had nowhere to go. And nine gets clobbered by somebody right there. You better look at this. Not sure who that was went flying by there. That might have been Thompson that got the damage. A caution out here again. And this should bring the leaders to pit road. Tough break for Tommy Rogers and Brian Hayes and those guys, as those drivers pitted right before the yellow here and kind of put themselves in a bad spot, as they are now a lap down in this race. As well as going to win the race off pit road with 2 tires. I probably would have gone 4 here, my honest opinion. But Wells obviously going to lead this thing. Travis Gilbert, Daryl Johnson, AJ Condon, and Sam Taylor. Looks like your top 5 off of pit road. So we should get the green somewhere around 40 laps to go in this race. I appreciate the viewers who've come to hang out. And Travis, I totally understand, bud. Totally understand. But some things got to be done, unfortunately. All right, so we'll go 1 to Grove this time by. Give a shout out again to as I look over at Shane Ward, it looks like mentioning went from almost 2 laps down to back on the lead lap. You got the double wave around there, didn't you? You got the lap back the hard way, and then probably got the lucky dog there. So well done, Shane. as he's back on the lead lap now, it looks like. But like I said, I wanted to give a shout out to, of course, Vet to Track, who does a lot of great things for the league, and not only that, for veterans that Travis mentioned a little bit ago. If you're someone who wants to get some information about Vet to Track, you can reach out to Travis. Looks like get some merchandise and stuff, and volunteer veterans for the opportunity to do a Vet to Track motorcycle track experience. So pretty cool deal there with Vet to Track. Is Joe Wells too good of a restart again? I mean, the thing that might help him here is Travis Gilbert is his teammate there right behind him. As here comes Condon and others. Condon will probably pull out of line here. Nope, he stays in line. So does the 93. So does Taylor. So does Andrew Moore, who's up to the 6th position. Let's say towards the end of the race, that might not be such a smart move. Johnson to the outside, that 93 having a great run. And oh, a little door bang there as the 9 said, excuse me, sir. And of course, you might be wondering, why are the walls green at Atlanta here on iRacing? Well, the story behind it starts with this. You go back to the old Kentucky Speedway. Of course, that track's still there, but up until a couple years ago when NASCAR stopped running there, the race there was called the Quaker State 400. Of course, Quaker State, a green colored oil, or not colored oil, but green logo on their car, or on their bottle. Well, when that race went away, Kentucky being part of SMI, which is Speedway Motorsports, decided to move that sponsor and race to the second Atlanta race, which now has become the Quaker State 400. I think it's like at Walmart or something like that. So now the Atlanta walls are green instead of the Kentucky walls. There you go. Long story short. Almost wrecked back there a few minutes ago. Back near Jacob Bowen and others there. Saw a couple cars sideways, but everybody able to save it. Johnson up there getting the wall as now these guys deciding to rim ride this thing. As we come up to 38 laps to go. Now I'm doing everything I can not to spoil much, but I have to put this out there. This race was actually scheduled for 162 laps. So what are those extra 4 laps on the sim? I'll let you figure that out when the time gets here. Condon trying to get a run back there. Bowen there in the 69, who's unfortunately a few laps down. Of course, 23 of Ryan Wilson doing a good job staying on the lead lap. And everybody else in these packs pretty much broken up now. Scott Wise back here in 10th. He's got, of course, Hayes, Melnick, and Rogers. It's like a battle of lucky dogs right here amongst these 5 cars. It's kind of weird how it's kind of broken up like an IMSA race here. You got all the leaders in this pack. Then you got the lucky dog battles in this pack. And then you got the I'm just here so I don't get fined pack, which is mixed in with the lead pack. Oh, and caution has come out. Caution. And, uh-oh. Problems back in the lucky dog pack. Not so lucky. Shane Ward, the 39 car. Tommy Rogers maybe with some damage. Ward, who was the lucky dog last time by. And a couple cars who could have been the lucky dog at this caution. Unfortunately, wreck here in turn 2, it looks like. Oh, 34 yeets the 30 around. Into the 47. Unfortunately, all the hard work that Shane did to get back on the lead lap. Gonna go for Nades. He's got a lot of damage, that 39 car. So this comes with 34 laps to go now. Melnick going to get the lucky dog, and he will now be a lap down, it looks like. In the 10th position, so now officially 9 cars on the lead lap. And looks like could be 8 when it's over with. Let's see if Ward can, looks like he's rolling back out. So he might be able to stay on the lead lap here. Getting the damage fixed. I want to throw a shout out to MC Racing, of course, as they do a great job of showing the Captain Esports Network over on their screens in downtown Fort Wayne. So appreciate what Mark has done to help us out, and hopefully we get a chance to send some people their way, of course, when racing season's going on. And I know like the Winchester 400 just happened, I believe, this past weekend, and other racing in this area from Lima Land to Eldora and Anderson, even a track up here in Angola. I know a couple of people on Wells' team there has been racing around Indiana too. But if you ever get a chance to take your friends or family, if you come through the area, stop on in there to MC Racing and enjoy the great sims that they have there. As Mark does a great job taking care of his people there and stuff, and appreciate what he does for us. All right, so coming to the green with 33 laps to go, Travis Gilbert, along with Joe Wells, those two have been up front most of the race. Daryl Johnson having a great run as he tries to bring in that superior templating hard charger award. Sam Taylor up there in the top 5 as he's been all night. And how about Tim Shiflett for the first time tonight in that 54 car, sitting in the 5th position right now. Once again, pace car pulls off, and we go back to green here. This time 32 laps to go. As well, gets a good restart there in front of his teammate here. And let's see if the 22 can get him up to speed and not lose too much momentum. As mentioned, 10 cars now officially on the lead lap. And Wells going to try to get that Pied Piper line rolling to get up there on that top side as Andrew Moore doesn't want a part of that as he's down there on that bottom side trying to get it rolling with Shiflett there in the 54. As Condon just smacked the outside wall. Gilbert trying to slow up that inside line, but they're going to get the momentum here for a second there. Moore gets through. Almost 3 wide there as Gilbert almost gets shuffled out. Great patience. Oh, and one that's Matthias back in the wall again. Roger Rios Matthias has probably had enough of the head first hits into the wall tonight. As he goes around and caution is out again. And looks like the 34 with more damage. As that 21, that's a broken toe link on his car. Let's see what happens to him here. I looked up on the screen. I just saw a 21 get turned sideways and then back into the wall head first. We'll check up there and oh, he got loose there for and then the 30 gets into him and that Superior templating number 21 car unfortunately in trouble on lap 137. As Andrew Moore officially going to be the leader here. And we do got some cars coming to pit road here. Travis Gilbert, AJ Condon, Shane Ward, Stephen Melnick. Looks like the back half of the top 10, which are all lead lap cars now. And I see Scott Wise and a few others maybe getting some damage fixed. As Moore leads with 27 laps to go. All right, so getting down to the old nitty gritty here. These car lights will go off and we'll get the green flag next time by. Andrew Moore, Joe Wells, Tim Shiflett, Ryan Wilson, Sam Taylor. Wells and obviously 22 of Travis Gilbert. Those two have run really well together, but now they're going to be split up here a little bit by a couple of rows after Travis coming to pit road there. A little bit of a haze I noticed coming over the skyline there as I see the humidity was pretty high just a little bit ago. At 90% we got the green. That's where you're seeing that little haze up there. As here we go back to the green flag. And I think that haze you're actually noticing kind of starting to play a role a little bit with the way the race is shaping up here, because you see how dark it's getting now on the front straightaway, and the lights there are kind of dimmer than the way it's set up, but interesting to see a little bit of a potential fog showing up here. Oh, as Joe gets himself put 3-1, here comes Wilson. At vet to track number 23. As these guys are digging now. Gloves are off. Time to go. See Gilbert already up on that top side, 4th position. As Moore and Shiflett and those guys on the inside lane continue to try to roll the bottom side. And I appreciate those hanging out here tonight on this Monday late afternoon now as we go into evening time. Lights are on at the track. Lights are on outside. If you're on the East Coast. Actually, another broadcast coming up here in just a little bit. If you're here for that, we appreciate you coming to hang out. And just heads up on that. Once that time gets here and we finish this broadcast, we will be switching over to the other YouTube link and getting you ready for the race from Vegas. I'll show you how to go from Atlanta to Vegas in literally 3 minutes. As caution is out, as Tim Shiflett has smashed it up over here in turn 1. And I don't think he realizes that right front is hardly moving. And that car's going to come to a rest here. Let's see what happened to the 54 car. Oh, it's already torn up there. Oh, he gets tapped from Melnick. And this wreck looked like it took a while for it to form up. Let's get a better view of this. There's the contact from the 1 after a little checkup there. He saves that. Oh, and then he gets chopped by the 6 and gets doored by the... Oh, that's a lick. Rolani gets a hard lick from it, too. And unfortunately, for Shiflett, he just got given the business. As caution comes out again. As some cars come to pit road. And we get one to go this time. Check out the weather here real quick. We can update. We don't usually show this much. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that number right there. 98% humidity. So basically, for those who don't know how fog is created, you get a lot of moisture in the air from the temperature, which is 77. No, that's not temperature. That's the 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is 70, or the dew point at 71 over here. That's track temp. I don't know how to do math. Let's do this again. Temperature, 69 degrees. The dew point is probably somewhere right in this area. Probably at 98%, it's probably 68 or 70. Which means there's a lot of moisture in the air, which produces haze and obviously fog and stuff like that. And that's why we're seeing a little bit of haze in the sky right now. You learned something weather-wise right there. If you ever wonder how you do humidity, you just divide the temperature by the dew point. Green flag. 18 laps to go. And you ever wonder why thunderstorms are thunderstorms? It's because obviously there's a lot of moisture in the air usually, because the dew points are high. Wells, Gilbert back to being the way they've been throughout this race up there in that top side. As one car to the apron. On the bottom, not sure who that is, but here we go. Front 6 or 7 cars, single file. Until now, the 9 gets a run to the inside. That's Taylor. Been patient, just kind of hanging out a little bit. And he's going to get the 23 of Ryan Wilson there with him. As Johnson and Condon get the outside line rolling. Stephen Melnick trying to get that outside line paired back up to join up with this front pack. Ten cars on the lead lap. Shane Ward being the last one. 16 laps to go. As up into the wall goes the Ryan Wilson car, and there was another one sparking. Well, thank God Chris Buescher's not in this race. He might win it. For those who don't get that joke, go watch the Pocono 2014 race, where Chris Buescher wins a fog race, as he was driving for the front row team at that point. Speeds up to about 185 miles an hour down to turn 1. As Wells leaves Stephen Melnick now, who's got that inside line going. Andrew Moore trying to push him. That outside line just continues to carry that momentum though. Travis said it in chat a little bit ago, but you just can't help but watch the two cars up here just continue to work well together on the super speedways. I expect more of that tomorrow night for the finale here for this Fet the Track Masters of the Draft Next Gen Car Series of 4. And again, for those who've never seen this before, it's basically, as I've said all season, it's like Mario Kart. You get all the different cups that you race 4 races for. And these guys are doing it 4 races in different cars. 4 in a truck. Then it's 4 in the next gen. 4 in the 87s. 4 in the Gen 4. 4 in the Xfinity car. And 4 in the old Gen 5 car. Or Gen 6 car, sorry. And overall championship going to be crowned. And then there's championships crowned every season after 4 races. As they are going to... Oh, boy! A little bit of a lack of track awareness there, unfortunately. As the leaders had to go splitting some cars, and a great job by Melnick and others to miss them. But that just really broke up this front pack. And poor Lauren has her hands nose deep into her face, or nose deep into her face right now. Nine laps to go as Wells continues. He's won both stages and now looking to go to victory lane here tonight. Gilbert right there behind him has finished second in both stages tonight and trails this battle by 1 point now to his teammate there. But I remember at Monza last week, he said, hey, it was my turn to win the championship. So I can only expect if he gets the opportunity to, that 3 is going by the wayside when it comes to the final lap. But right now, that 9, the 77, the 93, they've cleared. Oh, the 9 gets turned almost. Good save on his part. With 8 laps to go. And here comes Quentin Clark into the picture. The only bad news there is Quentin Clark is 3 laps down. And he's pushing more. And the moves as Gilbert gets around his teammate back here for 4th. Gilbert became the first overall repeat winner on the season last week in Monza. He's looking to become the first repeater. As here he goes up the middle. 4 wide as the 9 gets turned. So does the 30. And caution comes out. And for those who are doing the math right now, yes, this creates overtime. With 5 laps to go. I kind of hinted this a little bit ago when I said that this race is originally 162 laps. And the one thing about a replay race is it goes the exact distance of how long the race actually goes. And this is technically 3 laps to go right now in the race. 30 into the wall off of contact. And unfortunately, the 9 with damage. Taylor doing a great job all race long. And Scott Wise around in that incident also. Get one more look of it. Yeah, they were 4 wide off turn 2 there. We should get one to go this time by. And you might be wondering why the number up there is in green still. 3 laps to go. On a replay race also, I have to switch the color to yellow. on the flag up there. It's the one thing that's different. So I've done my best to show that so you know when the caution's out and so on and so forth. But all right, here we go. Coming down to it. Going to be overtime. 3 laps to go. In this Vet to Track Masters of the Draft Series. I appreciate the guys coming to hang out here for the stream tonight. Krishan, Elliott, Travis, Gilbert. I think it was just you two pretty much hanging out here. I'm sure others. Oh, Shane Ward stopped in. So appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting it up tonight. Been a lot of fun. Looking forward to being back live with you guys tomorrow night. And appreciate the patience from all the leagues, including the National Association for Stock Car Virtual Racing, as you know, had some things come up last week and wasn't able to be here, and everybody's good, and we are good to go. As here we go, 2 laps to go. Andrew Moore, Travis Gilbert on the front row as we come to the green flag. Moore with about a, well, literally 100th, 200ths of a second of a lead, barely any kind of lead. But they both got a great race start and a little door banging there as Johnson and Joe Wells come into play. As they come through 3 and 4, they're going to come to the white flag. Final lap this time by as Gilbert with the lead in. I believe Andrew Moore is spun or something happened to Andrew Moore and he's blinking out. Ryan Wilson into play. Is he going to make a move? As other cars go wrecking off turn 4, Travis Gilbert comes off turn 4 and sees back-to-back wins as he wins in Atlanta after his win at Monza and gets his 3rd win of the season. Wells ends up 2nd, Condon 3rd, Shane Ward gets back to 4th, and Ryan Wilson ends up 5th. As Wells has stayed right there on the back bumper and pushed his teammate to the win. What happened to Taylor this time with Shiflett, unfortunately? Oh, Melnick and the no, and there's contact there with Rawaldi, and there's Shiflett getting turned. And by that point, it was off to the races. As Gilbert comes off turn 4 and sees the checkered flag there. And we did not see what happened to Andrew on the white flag. He was there. Did he? Oh, he spun right there. Turn 4. That's what happened. He just all that 4 is out. Unfortunately. What caused that spin? Oh, he did all that 4. He actually come back blinking there. Oh, and the 93 got in the back of him. That's what happened. Unfortunate there for Andrew. And then there's the 9 getting turned. As Condon makes that late move right there on the 23 cars. There's the finish right there as Gilbert gets around Wells. It's my daughter saying, Dad. Just about.
Yes.
Just about. I'll give me a second. As we take a look at the final results, as these guys will come down and celebrate the team win. As once again a 1-2, and according to Travis here, 1, 2, 3, 4 for Gilbert, Wells, Condon, and Shane Ward. Ryan Wilson 5th. Brian Hayes comes back to 6th. Daryl Johnson 7th. Stephen Melnick 8th. Sam Taylor 9th. And Andrew Moore Jr. finishing 10th. Scott Wise 11th. Quentin Clark 12th. Derek Jacobs 13th. Jacob Bowen and Tim Shiflett, your top 15. As we look at the rest of the finishing order. James Hudson finishing 16th. Eddie Roddy 17th. Tommy Rogers, Roger Rios Matias, and Dusty White, your top 20. Greg Thompson 21st. Krishan Elliott 22nd. Andrew Mraz 23rd. Chad Waller 24th. And Dylan Picklesimmer, unfortunately, never made to the finish of the race in the 25th position for him. As you see the team doing burnouts. As Gilbert celebrates another win in the series. And look at it, he's actually sitting over here in the G Lightning channel. So we're going to go in here and as Gilbert doing a little bit of a Polish victory lap, and I'm going to bust in on him here in the middle of Discord. Travis, you got a copy? See if he's actually here. He is not. Tough break. He's over here in the G Lightning channel, in the league channel, but he might be away from his computer at the moment. Leave a message at the beep. He might be out doing a victory lap or something. Wait, his mic's lighting up. We have Travis. Uh-oh. Unmute your mic. His mic's turning green on me, but it's not working. Somebody pull a string. He's going to come back. Let's see. Sometimes that trick works. You know, it might be a me thing. I see I have an update over here on Discord, so it might be me, but hang on. Let's see. I got a minute here. Let me see real quick. Let me update Discord and see if I can come back and have him here. Sometimes if you don't update Discord, it does that to you too. Me. Let's see here. Travis, you got me? Oh, not yet. My mic's not awake yet here. And see if we get something. There we go. Travis, you get a copy? All right, that didn't do it either. Oh, well. Thanks, Travis. Appreciate it, bud. Sorry for not being able to talk to you. We tried. Actually, let me think about it. I haven't done a live interview yet since... Hang on. I think I know why. Stand by for 1 second. I just remembered. I did the broadcast Thursday night, and I had to change my headset. Let me go in here to my... that's exactly what it is. He should be here now.
I've been able to hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
There he is. Travis Gilbert. I just had to make one adjustment real quick. And there it is. We got him now as Travis, man. Obviously, I know it was a week ago, but obviously that race was a wild one. But you and your team, you talked about in chat there, obviously have seemed to get the teamwork part down.
Man, that's one thing that we're trying to do at GLM is put team before myself or I or me. So I do everything I can to lift these guys up. You know, it's super speedway racing. It's easy to get caught up in the me concept of wanting to win and everything. Oh, I got you, Dan. I'm in the background. I was watching you on my phone so I could talk to you and then watching you on the big screen. So, I just wanted to show up and show support like I do with my team. You know, it's all about team. We are going through a lot of stuff in our country. We're getting ready for the political, our vote for who's going to be the president. And then we've got all the hurricanes and the damages. So one other thing that we can do is show up and support each other in a team aspect as far as super speedway racing. And that's what I tried to do, Chris.
Well, I appreciate that very much, man. Well, you got the points lead by 3, it looks like. As I look at the official points, you and Joe have just pulled away and walked away from everybody here so far in the overall point standings, or in the Gen 7 point standings. So that's got to be a great feeling knowing that you guys have led, let me do the math here real quickly, 209, it looks like, total laps.
Yeah, this team's awesome, man. I just love it. I mean, you have Joe Wells, who, like you said early in the broadcast, don't matter when it is, he just seems to show up at the right time. AJ Condon, he's new to our league and team. He's showing up. He gets involved in some stuff sometimes. It's just the way it is, though. It's super speedway racing. And then the same with Shane Ward. You know, he had some bad luck, but 1 through 4, and then Kashan was leading the race today. So, I say today, but back at Atlanta, right? So he led 10 laps. So trying to build up his confidence, and you know, he didn't know if he wants to race at Dega, but he better show up. I mean, yeah, exactly, right? So
Hey.
now it's a call out, right? So
I know sort of where he lives, so I mean I can go over and find him.
oh yeah, there we go, Chris. There we go. A good old thread on YouTube. There we go. No,
That's not a threat.
I know, right? No, a good old, though. That's what it is, though. I know he's down in the dumps a little bit about what happened and stuff, but honestly, he needs to look past that negativity and look at all the positives, like you said in the comments during the broadcast. He got the lead laps and all that stuff. I mean, 10 laps led. And he led some of them laps without a teammate pushing him, so that he put himself in position, like you were talking about with Joe. As a team, I think we're really starting to gel. You know, Joe won the truck championship. It looks like either Joe or myself's going to win this championship. I really want to win this championship so I can just worry about pushing all the rest of the teammates. The goal, Chris, is for each teammate to win a block championship, and then for Joe to win the overall championship.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a plan. Well, hey, we appreciate your time, buddy. We're gonna let you go, and a big shout out to Vet to Track, and technically, Vet to Track sponsoring the Victory Lane interview here. So, Vet to Track,
Yeah, it's
of course,
awesome.
Victory Lane interview. So, obviously appreciate what you do for Vet to Track, and a big shout out there. And we'll let you go get ready for Talladega tomorrow night.
Hey, Chris, yeah, I'm going to come over and check out your next broadcast. Appreciate you for everything that you do for the Vet to Track, bringing it. Go to www.vettotrack.org. If you know somebody that's struggling with PTSD and they like racing, I promise you this is for them. This is the organization for them. You will make a difference in their life. And on top of that, you mentioned that this was like Mario Kart. Like, I love that concept. It's so cool. Brings a different aspect. So Lauren and Scott, thank you so much. I know that it can be hectic raising a family and doing all this stuff. So much appreciated. That's why I love that Vet to Track stepped up and sponsored so much of the league. They're awesome. Love everything about them.
Absolutely, man. Hey, appreciate your time, buddy.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir. As Travis Gilbert just happened to be hanging out in Discord, so we went over and said hi to him and got a quick word from him for his win last week in this race. And now I'm going to go get ready for this other broadcast. But before I do, let me go check the standings. I think this is completely accurate when I look over here at the race stand. Actually, nope, I've updated that, so I did not get the chance to pick out. But I believe the 93 of, as my daughter's singing Thriller behind me, the 93 car, I believe, ended up being the Hard Charger award. I could be wrong on that, of Daryl Johnson. So if so, congratulations to him on pulling that one off. But let's take a look at the point standings here really quickly before I do take off here. Let me go back into the, I get the right logos here for a second. See Travis's car still sitting there. Here's your point standings. Travis leads by 3 over Joe Wells. Shane Ward, Roger Rios, Matias, and Jake Bowen, your top 5 there. Overall standings, Wells leads Gilbert by 45 now. Clark is 3rd. Shane Ward and Roger Rios, Matias there in your top 5 overall. And in team points right now, G Lightning over High Spirits by 92. G Lightning Motorsports up to 3rd now. Pork Wrench and TNT, your team battle. All right, we're going to head out. I will see you in a couple minutes. If you're here for the other league race, we will have it on for you in about 10-15 minutes or so with Kevin England and I, and we will see you there. Otherwise, tomorrow night, Talladega for the National Association for Stock Car Virtual Racing. And a big shout out to Scott and Lauren Wise for allowing me to get the broadcast on when I did. And also, big shout out to Superior Templating for sponsoring the Hard Charger Award, which I believe went to the 93 tonight. So I could be wrong on that. But big shout out to all the sponsors. Big shout out to everybody for allowing us to be a part of this series. And thank you, viewers, for hanging out here on this Monday evening, afternoon, whatever it is. This isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain eSports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.